Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run through the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as over this course of most of this Easter or long Easter weekend it's going to be fairly decent, fairly bright, fairly sunny and fairly dry, and perhaps even seeing temperatures get quite warm on Easter Sunday, maybe 17 or 18 degrees. However, as we head into early next week, it is looking highly likely the westerly flow is going to dominate. We're going to see low pressure coming off the Atlantic, bringing more wet and windy weather, and into the middle of next week there could be quite a stormy spell. We're looking all eyes peeled on quite a severe area of low pressure that is moving in. Could get down to sort of 960 millibars on some of these runs, with winds gusts up to 70, 80 or 90 miles per hour. I'm pretty sure it will be quite an intense low pressure system. That intense, we'll have to keep an eye on it. And if it was that intense, then it is likely to be a named storm. So could be seeing some disruptive weather in around 4 or 5 days' time. But of course, things can change. We'll keep you updated on that. As we head into long range, look at the GFS, GM, Eastern WF and the ensembles. We have had consistent high pressure signal over the last week or so for the middle of the month, and there could be higher pressure, but there definitely has been a shift to that westerly flow being a little bit more important than we had thought. One thing we are looking at is that it will be warmer than average. We are going to be building in relatively warm southerly or southwesterly flows, but a lot of the runs today are incorporating that with quite big low pressure systems, so rain, cloud, some sun and some warmth, but then you'd also think there would be some heavy thundery showers with that. So if you are looking for warmer, drier weather, make sure you cherish the next few days. We did think there was more coming through April, but the latest update does look like that more of a westerly flow, unsettled flow, could be dominating towards the middle of the month. But of course things will change, and we'll keep you updated as said. So anyway, do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So do start on the live radar. You can see it is pretty bone dry over the UK at the moment, and pretty sunny as well, with most areas pretty cloud free. There will be some cumulus clouds popping up, and a few showers could pop up in the east, but most areas should see sort of partly cloudy skies. So plenty of sunshine and generally warm conditions. Now we're calling this around midday, so the temperatures are nearing their peak, but not quite there yet. So you can see widespread yellows, again indicating temperatures in that low to mid-teens range. And no really cool spots appearing here, maybe a little bit of elevation, allowing a little bit more blues developing, but generally it is widely warm with that sunny weather out there. So make sure you do go and enjoy it. It's going to be dominating today, tomorrow and into Sunday as well. Now, if you go over to the UKV and have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. Now, you can see at the moment it's pretty bone dry. Could be a few showers and a few bits of cloud here or there today, but again, nothing crazy at all. Into tomorrow, a very similar picture does arrive. Maybe a few drizzly showers here or there, but into tomorrow afternoon, once again, really quite pleasant and sunny. However, you can see weather fronts starting to appear from the west, but they will make very slow progress before moving in on Monday. Into Sunday, again, another very dry day. Could be a bit more cloud around, and unfortunately for the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, by the middle of the afternoon, rain will be moving in. But for most, it will still be relatively dry, but just a little bit more cloudy, a little bit more muggy as we draw up a bit of a southerly flow there. Unfortunately, no sunshine, or you could be seeing maybe 20 degrees through Sunday, more likely mid to high teens. However, into Monday we see a big weather front move in, giving light to moderate rain quite widely and generally cloudier conditions. It does sweep through, and we go into a kind of showery, thundery, showery sort of position through Monday afternoon. So could be decent in places, but at the same time, heavy thundery showers will be rattling through as well. But all eyes are on Tuesday and Wednesday as we see another big low approaching from the southwest. So perhaps a brief lull on Tuesday morning, but look at this big low moving in, quite organised, bit of a hook developing there, and this is a really quite severe low moving in that is going to be potentially a named storm as that progresses in through Tuesday and Wednesday. You can have a look at the mean sea level pressure towards the centre of this low, down to sort of 962 millibars. That's an intense low pressure system, and that would definitely be named if we saw that. And again, if we have a look at the wind gusts as of around early hours of Wednesday morning, in 5 days' time, 70, 80 mile per hour widely towards coastal areas inland across the Republic of Ireland, 60 or 70 in parts of southwest England and Wales at this stage, 50 or 60. But that could become more widespread through Wednesday afternoon as this low moves in. So a really quite intense system here. Would be a named storm if we saw conditions like this, and widespread yellow, if not even amber warnings issued for wind, and probably warnings issued for rain as well. So we'll have to keep our eyes peeled on this. It could downgrade, it could even upgrade, and we'll just have to keep our eyes on it. Of course, we did allude to it yesterday, but this is the first time it's into the UKV's time frame, and the UKV even now is going for really quite a severe low. So as I said, we will keep a very close eye on this, and we'll probably see if it's named or not, probably over this weekend. That's when the Met Office will probably make up their mind whether this system is worth naming, and of course the warnings will be issued probably Sunday or Monday if it stays at this intensity. If you look at the max temperatures now, you can see through this afternoon temperatures around that 14-15 degree mark. Pretty decent, chillier air mass aloft, which means those temperatures won't be all too warm, but with the sunshine out there, it's going to feel really pleasant. And of course, the UV levels are quite high this year, so make sure you do put a bit of sun cream on if you're out those peak hours of the day, so around 11 to 3 p.m. And that applies for all days this weekend. If we do go into Saturday, it's a bit of a frost overnight, so it could be a little bit chilly in a few places, but into Saturday afternoon, those temperatures rise maybe slightly higher, 14 to maybe 16 degrees, really quite nice and pleasant. And then finally into Sunday, again a little bit chilly overnight, but into the afternoon those temperatures will climb once again, maybe 15 to 17 degrees. As I said, if there was a bit more sunshine, could be seeing a 20 degrees here, but because of that lack of sunshine, a bit more cloud around, those temperatures will be halted a bit. But as we head into Monday, it probably will still be a little bit mild, but of course accompanied by more cloud and showers. Won't feel all too great in places. And then into Tuesday as well, pretty chilly overnight. And then into Tuesday afternoon, you can see real big temperature contrast depending on where we see the cloud, wind and rain. Could be only 7 or 8 degrees there, where in more of a bit of drier, sunny weather, maybe 13 degrees or so. So yeah, really stormy middle of next week. We'll have to really keep a close eye on it, and of course we'll have a look at the longer range, what they're showing at the moment. But we're starting into the time frame now, we're going to have to really keep a close eye specifically on those short range models, which we will do over the next few days. So if you now have a look at the GFS and see what that is doing over the course of the next few weeks. Again, high pressure building in at the moment, but you can see the lows out in the Atlantic gathering strength, and they do push in through Monday into Tuesday. And then they pick up this low just towards the south into Wednesday. Not quite as intense as the UKV's making out to be, perhaps down towards sort of 980 millibars, towards the centre of the system before it moves through. And it is deepening over the UK, which can give gustier winds than you'd expect from a typical low pressure system of this intensity. So that is something you do need to keep an eye on. If it does go through really quite intense rapid deepening, it could be quite a bit, wind gusts could be quite a bit higher than we initially anticipate. As that does clear through, we thought high pressure would return, but the GFS today is very much more on the idea of a westerly flow dominating. Now, I must say, there are brief southerly flows here. You can see through Tuesday the 18th of April, and it's quite far in the future, but this is just an example where we could see a brief southerly pulse of very warm air. You can look at those upper air temperatures, very warm air coming in there for a time, maybe the 10 or even higher degree isotherm moving in, getting maybe the 15 degree isotherm in there. And again, you look at the United Kingdom, look, it goes through these 2 metre temperatures, mid to high teens widely, maybe even touching on 20 degrees or slightly higher. So it could be quite warm, but again, it's accompanied by lower pressure out of the Atlantic, so it could be warm and dry for a day or two before the westerly flow moves back in, probably breaking down that warmer air with quite a bit of thundery weather. And again, not looking great all the way to the end of the run. So GFS definitely now on board with something a little bit more unsettled and generally not particularly pleasant towards the middle or end of the month, which is big contrast to what it has been showing recently, where it's been more high pressure dominated. But this could be a change, so we'll have to keep an eye on how it does develop over the next few days. If you do have a look at the GM, again, high pressure building in at the moment, low pressure running in the next few days, and that low moves through really quite deep once again, probably down to 980 millibars or lower. Position further northwards here, and again those very strong winds with that, and eventually it does clear towards day 10, and we do see high pressure built to our east, but still low pressure out in the Atlantic trying to dominate. So quite a similar picture to the GFS. Again, slightly different positioning of the low middle of next week, but could once again be very unsettled and very stormy with this sort of pattern. Again, you go to the United Kingdom, look towards the centre of that low, maybe down to 976 millibars. Look at those winds, very, very strong around that, against sustained winds of 30, 40 knots here. Again, if we have a look at the ECMWF, again, high pressure dominating at the moment, but low pressure runs in, and look at that low. Look how quickly that deepens towards Northern Ireland. Very intense low pressure system there as that does move in by early hours of Wednesday. You zoom into the United Kingdom, look, getting down to maybe 960 millibars towards the centre of that, maybe 964, something like that towards the centre of that low. Intense system where it does slowly fill in, but really, really intense that as that does move in. And again, you look at those winds, really quite ridiculously strong towards the centre of that low. So as wherever this positioned, if it does get to that deepness, we would expect 80, 90 mile per hour wind gusts and sustained winds of maybe 40 or 50 miles per hour. So really quite strong, and yeah, could be quite a stormy spell next week. But you can see there is contrast between all these runs here. Different runs have different intensities and different positionings, and that will make all the difference to whether this is just a general unsettled period or whether it is a very stormy period or even a named storm and quite a severe stormy period. Now, if you finish by looking at the ensembles, you can see the latest GFS generally around average over the next week or so, and quite a bit of precipitation into the middle of next week as we do see that very unsettled weather come in. In the longer term, though, you can see definitely more above average, quite warm there. But as I said, more signals of more low pressure moving in. I must say, the ensembles don't support it as much, not as much precipitation. But again, this could just generally be because of London is in the southeast, so closer to the higher pressure. So at this time frame, not showing all too much in terms of precipitation. But from what we've seen on the operational runs, definitely a shift more towards slightly unsettled weather in the longer term, but equally quite a bit warmer. Again, if we do have a look at the sea level pressure, you can see that dip early next week through Wednesday. Again, not thinking that the low is going to directly move through London, so we're not expecting it to be particularly deep here, but you can see the little bottom out there just showing you how intense it could be. And again, have a look at Glasgow. Again, you can see another dip there, but quite a bigger dip with some getting down to 970 or 980 like the operational run here. So yeah, really quite intense perhaps. Again, if we have a look at the 2 metre temperatures for London, again, the 6 o'clock run hasn't fully come out, so I don't want to have a look at that. You can see generally around the low teens over the next week or so, but into the longer range, more towards the mid to high teens or even 20 degrees. But as I said, could be accompanied more precipitation there. Again, we'll have to keep an eye on that in the longer term. And if we do just finish by having a look at the ECMWF operational run, again, pretty similar, around average or maybe more slightly above average over the next week, and then a big signal for above average upper air temperatures towards the middle to end of the month. Still some precipitation signal, but nothing huge as of yet, so probably still a split within the ensemble members, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. Definitely hoping for a bit more dry weather, as we have seen some hints of dry weather over the last week or so, with a few days here or there of some nice drier, warmer weather, and hopefully we see a continuation of that, something a little bit more sustained. We've seen sort of 3 or 4 days here or there early this week, and then of course we'll see some more warmer, dry weather this weekend, but nothing more than sort of 2, 3, 4 days, not allowing any warmth to build or anything like that. So hopefully we do see something a little bit more sustained, maybe a week of drier or generally drier weather, but we will have to see. Of course, all eyes will be on that stormier weather next week, and we'll get through that, and then we'll see where we do stand. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe and stay tuned, as we'll keep you updated with what's going to be happening next week. Could be really quite disruptive, especially this late on in the year, as trees are coming into leaf. So we will have to keep an eye on what's going on, as that could be really quite disruptive. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.